Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So I did some more testing with the Idris yesterday, and I look forward to doing at least more playing with the Idris once I get back done with this video. So I'll be racing through this to get back in game. So I want to talk about the rep needed. It is now kept under a rep grind in order to get a hold of this mission before it was previously just unlocked. I want to take a look at the MPUV hangar and just generally boarding with it, as well as I played with golem pods a little bit. So we'll talk about that. And then the torp damage. So I did shoot some torps at this thing, and I have 2 testings for that. We'll take a look at that, and you can see the associated cost with just one of those testings. So it is a fairly expensive endeavor just to take out an Idris with these torps. Additionally, I wanted to kind of note about the mission in general. I like the mission a lot. I hope they keep it in game. That being said, though, I really think they maybe make the Idris available because it's kind of like a pretty big tease in order to have the mission or have the ship in game, but you can't actually just pull it out of your hangar if you own it. That just seems odd to me. Like, that doesn't jive. So I don't know if the Idris is coming. I suspect possibly the end of this year, which is close to the 2026 mark. So I hope they release it before Squadron 42. I don't even own it, so I'm just saying this on behalf of other users, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in game. The mission you can see here, Elite Op, is the mission. I've shared this before. However, now you have to get to rep rank 5 with headhunters in order to actually unlock it. I'm just barely over rank 5 here. That being said, if you do lose out in the mission, you do lose access to it. So when you first do this is what I did a couple successful missions of destroying it, and that's because I really just wanted to have access to the ship for a long period of time. Additionally, MPUV, it actually doesn't get attacked when it comes up. So this is a good boarding ship option. I used this the second time, and the first time I actually used the Pulse. The pods. So the pods do fit on the elevator. The 16 SCU pods, that's what they essentially are. They're modified 16 SCU cargo containers. It looks like you could probably get 2 on here. I happened to just do 1. I kind of regret that at the end there. I clicked on the other pod. I kind of forgot there were 2 pods, to be honest. I haven't been able to play with the golem that much. I've been too busy just testing other things. You saw earlier in the first clip, if you're not careful with this elevator here, it will fall out like the top. I was able to go retrieve that. That's why I have this pod again. But it can like fall through or go up, I guess, fly through the top. I also like it better with the pod, like, I don't know what you call those, but the accessible pod pieces shaped or like forced down, right? So I flip this over essentially, and I find that to be a little bit easier to work in here. The second one I'm working with, I actually have those up, and I don't know, it seems a little bit more difficult. You can see here the pod interface there at the top in the middle is facing up this time. But yeah, you have to turn it 90 degrees because like you can't put it horizontally and vertically. Like it only fits up the elevator one way, and then you have to kind of rotate it. So that's a little wonky. Maybe they'll work on that, but there's no lockable grid here. But I just kind of wanted to show what it would be like. Maybe if you have a crew of a bunch of golems, then how that would play out. The hangar itself for the MPUV, it does seem to be more spacious than it was previously, and I know it's supposed to dock at the top, so it's not like you're meant to really land this and then lower the gear and just be able to land on the pad there. There is like a top dock part where this is supposed to kind of pull into, if you will. So I played with it a little bit. It's hard to tell because I can't close this hangar here. At least I haven't been successful in doing that. I'll do more testing on that, but the hangars they've just been open, which I've been fine with. So it's been interesting to see that it fits pretty well in here. I was able to kind of coerce it in here. I was hoping to maybe get the gear to fit like in between the actual dock part up at the top. You can see that orange thing. That's meant to hold the actual MPUV. I've got the personnel in here, but I think it's meant to hold all 3 variants, at least the 3 that are offered now. There's the cargo and there's the tractor as well. The personnel made more sense to me just given that it would be kind of a transport. Oddly enough, this is the most kind of transportable boarding ship that you can actually get a hold of. It'll actually fit in other ships, but it's obviously not well armored enough to actually do some ship boarding. That being said, you can see here, you can get right out. So it was pretty good. Torpedo testing. This is the biggest thing that people will probably want to see. So I did this a few ways. I started really far away, and I was like, this is not working, right? I'll just be here all day, and it's not exciting footage. So I really wanted to dumbfire it, so I went ahead and got closer, but you know, obviously you can turn the PDCs off. That's what I did here. I turned the PDCs off, and it didn't interfere with actually attacking this particular Idris, and so that worked out well. So if you need to board it, you need to go into the piloting area, and you need to turn all the weapons off, and that will allow you to then attack it if you wanted to try out yourself shooting this bad boy with torps. Being said, I got closer, but you need to kind of have it set in a way that you're not going to miss. So I did miss a shot here. So if you're looking at the total count on this, the first test actually took 13 torpedoes to take this bad boy out. And so this is the 13th torpedo here. Again, I did miss with one, and so, you know, that kind of goes into the effect. Also, I like how it lags the server as it's dying. That happened both times. So it's pretty cool to see how this plays out. The next test, though, I wanted to know a little bit more about what about the ships in the hangar, right? So what are the actual possible damage and destruction can be done to the ships that are actually in the hangar? So I went ahead and loaded up with 4 particular ships. I just picked a random hodgepodge of 4. I wanted to see how many I can kind of fit in here. 4 is kind of really the top end here. So I have a Super Hornet, I have a medevac in here, I have, or the Terrapin, a medevac, I have a Gladius, and then in the very back I have a Hornet tracker. So those are the 4 ships. So I decided I'll do a salvo. I'm actually really close here. I'm less than 300 meters away from the ship, so that's not a good idea. I don't recommend doing that. You'll see why here. So I do a salvo of 4 torpedoes at this bad boy, and the damage is pretty interesting. So within the first torp here, I think you notice the names go away, which I think answers our question about how much damage is done. You can see here, obviously I took quite a bit of a hit in the face as well, given how close I was to the ship. So I decided to board it and see what damage was done. The shielding was roasted. So I don't know if that's going to be standard fare. Obviously, that's not a given, but these shields are just gone. So any other shots after this are definitely going to be without shields. Although I think these are physical torpedoes, so it doesn't really matter that much. As far as the hangar's concerned, roasted, just absolutely cooked. And I think they were cooked on the first shot, so it was pretty interesting to see. So if you're going to be in an Idris, you need to get those crew up and out of the ship before you get started, or maybe that's something they need to address, because these ships were cooked, and I think it was cooked when the first torpedo. I'm not saying someone should be within 300 meters to do that, but I think the first torpedo, and some people fire torpedoes, that's really what's going to do a lot of damage. Additionally, I went ahead and did another salvo. I'd already fired quite a few. It's the first torp here. Actually, no, I'm doing some more testing here. I thought this is just going to be the shot of... I'm firing salvos of 4, if you will, towards it just to get it finalized here. Again, everything's already dead inside, so not else much left to be done with it. It just happens to be that 12 torpedoes is the amount that I counted that actually was required. I fired more than that, but overall, it was the 12th torpedo from my count that made the difference. Maybe I was off by 1. It could have been 13 for this one as well, but you can see the lag here from the server as it does finally die. And then I like how my own PDCs start attacking my own torpedoes. Anyways, it's a fun test. I look forward. I hope they keep this mission in the game. Possibly they may, interact, make it 50-50. Sometimes it's the Polaris, maybe sometimes it's the Idris, but I really like having access to the Idris. Anyways, thank you all for checking the video. Appreciate those taking time to like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.